So, there's a new Deathspell Omega record out. Now, I don't want to make it sound like there's some kind of virulent, abject hatred for this record or anything like that, but beyond the lineup change, there's a lot of obvious sonic stylistic changes on this record that I think people just weren't really ready for. Full disclosure, I am an absolute music nerd. I say that because I have different music that I listen to for completely different reasons. Like Henry Rollins once said, he has carbohydrate listening and then there's protein listening. There's things that I listen to for pure pleasure, and then I like to listen to things that artistically challenge me. I love Dark Throne's Transylvanian Hunger. I'm not very likely to put that on to enjoy myself very often. I'm much more likely to pick something like The Underground Resistance, though I think that Transylvanian Hunger is certainly more artistically significant. On a pure pleasure level, I am much more likely to listen to something like Dissection's later material, Wataine's later material, Tribulation, Migla. Exercises in Futility is definitely one of my most listened to in the last few years. But here's where I will admit that Deathspell Omega for me over the years has been much more the latter, a protein listen, a progressive, dissonant whirlwind of hellish misery. Deeply respectable from an artistic standpoint, but not something I'm really going to listen to just for fun. Until this new record, I will say this is probably the most enjoyable thing that they have put out to date in my book. This is something I will likely be coming back to for pure pleasure again. An unpopular opinion to some, but given the bands that I listed that I typically enjoy, probably not a surprise to a lot of people who maybe are familiar with those bands. Maybe if you're like me and you're more in that sort of camp, enjoying more of the more black and roll style, a little bit more melody than dissonance and chaos in your music, then maybe you might want to check this record out. Highly suggest the last song on the record called Our Life Is Your Death. Hope everybody's well out there.